Thanks for sitting down with us, mate. It's nice and hot out there, but nice and air-conned in here, isn't it?
Bit different surrounding, isn't it?
Yeah, than the Portland Arms.
sitting in the pub last, which was fantastic, by the way. That was excellent, and smashing little boozer. This is different, isn't it? This is great. Like, delighted you guys. Thank you for coming. I know you're pleased to be here as well. And you'll enjoy the game tomorrow morning. But it's great for you to see the environment that we work, that we try and create. That when I'm doing interviews, I'm talking about culture and the lads, etc. This is it really. And this is the starting point. Well, actually, it starts with the recruitment side, trying to sign the right characters. As well as the players on the pitch, but the right characters. But then this is the next step: bring them away together, getting them integrated, training in the heat like we're training in. Saw the session this morning was okay. In my opinion, was okay. But it's the starting point for lads to learn messages and how we get to that final point last year of looking like quite a good team. Yeah. You have to start somewhere. So I'm really pleased you're here and experiencing that.
I guess it's like you could say it's like climbing a mountain, which is something that I heard you did this summer.
Yeah. How's that? Well, the best way I'm going to so I'm 50 next year. So all my friends are similar sort of ages, and one of them said, "Well, for my birthday, I'd like to climb a mountain." So great idea. So 10 of us were like, "Yeah, brilliant. Let's do it." Atlas Mountains in Morocco, great. For great locations, you go climb a mountain, then you've got Marrakesh, and you've got a little bit of nightlife as well. So we had sort of a few days there, and I thought that's great. So best way to describe it was an unbelievable experience. I'm so proud I've done it, and I did it with my best friends. It was brilliant. But if either of you are ever going to do it, please don't invite me. I'm definitely not coming.
How's the summer been apart from that in general?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's talk more socially first and say socially as a family off the back of a promotion. It's great. It's great for me and all the players and the staff and all the members of the club. We've had success, so it's great. You have your downtime of success. As a football club, it's been great in a sense because we just keep building. Then ultimately that's the aim. I'm sure you're going to ask me what's the aim for the forthcoming season. For me and Bonds, it's just to continue to develop the football club. So even in this, the infrastructure of the club, we staffing and player wise, but that's been nice. It's nice doing it for promotion. Going up a division is really nice. You're trying to recruit for League One players. But then you realise you don't have quite as much money as everybody else, and it becomes tough again. But ultimately, it's been a great off-season period and a great first 4 weeks of pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess just away from the club stuff a little bit, we're coming off the back of the World Cup. I guess you were probably across it. What'd you make of it all?
Yeah, as I think we spoke before, but I'm a huge England fan. Travel around the world to watch England. Didn't go to the States this year. My son went and he was at games.
Tom saw Don Ball.
Yes, yeah. Ball,
I saw him on the Jumbotron actually.
Ball, he was there. There was a lot of Cambridge fans there. Yeah, my boy got talking to a few. And I'm really disappointed. I've got to be honest, really, really disappointed. Probably more angry than I've ever been. I thought the semi-final, the way we capitulated, I was really disappointed with. I think there's huge questions. I'm a massive Gareth Southgate fan as a manager and a person, and the way he was treated at the end by us as a nation, as a fan base, was a disgrace. And as always in football, you want better. Oh no, he's not sexy enough. He doesn't do this. Oh, he needs somebody who can do that. Well, Thomas was supposed to come in and take that next step. Well, he didn't. Didn't do anything that Gareth didn't do. Didn't do anything that Roy Hodgson didn't do when we lost to Iceland and he got forced out because he didn't quite, couldn't quite do it. So as you can tell in my tone, I'm really angry. So I'm a proud Englishman. We should have done better in that competition. But then also flip the other side and go, that's the life of a manager. You make your decisions and you live and die by them. We're a genius when it works and we're a disaster when it fails. So at the moment it's still very raw for me, but watching the final and watching that team in blue and white in that final absolutely infuriated me, I just it's going to take me a little bit of a while to get over it. So thank you for asking.
Yeah. We'll move on. Let's rewind a little bit. Going back a long old way to when you came back to the club. You talk a lot about culture, and I think for us, we were chatting just before starting this discussion. It does come through quite a lot. Even when you speak to the players around the place, maybe different to other experience we had under other regimes, like coming into the building and stuff. But for you, what was it like coming back? Like what sort of state did you find the club in compared to the one that you'd left?
It's very difficult when you walk into a team, when you walk into a football club and it's had a tough period, on the pitch. It doesn't mean there's not development off the pitch as well. So I have to be really respectful to that, and I'm certainly not going to talk about too many negatives because that is it's not fair on sort of Gary before me, or me, that was it, and Mark before that. So I'm very careful if it just doesn't sit with just one person or one regime. What I found was probably just an imbalance in squad, in mentality and probably sort of like fitness, etc. Because the club was searching to try and get better than being fourth or fifth bottom for 4 years in a row and standing up on the last day. Obviously, when I was here in that 3-month period, we were just building to a team that looked like it was going to end up in probably, I don't know, 12th, 13th maybe in the league. My decision to leave, so I own that. And it's probably a big decision of me coming back to try and repay that and rebuild that. But yeah, it was a club that it was probably a team that I couldn't identify with, and a club that I just thought just needed a lot of work. And I've got to be honest, I wasn't interested in why it was like that. Was that Bonds? Was it Neil Harris? Was it Gaz Monk? It wasn't about that. It was what it was, and it was absolutely clear not to step backwards. Me and Bonds were absolutely clear. Let's not worry about who's in the building or who's done what or what did we do, what did we wrong, what did previous director of football or what did the ownership. Wasn't interested in it. How do we make it better? That is all we focused on, and there was some hard work, and there were some tough games for me, some tough moments for me to deal with in quiet moments for me away from the pitch, to deal with what I'm watching and what I'm experiencing was really tough. But we always looked to the future, and that's where Bonds was absolutely class. He'd say to me, Chop, we're going to change it. Be patient, we're going to change it. And there'd be days enough to say to Bonds, don't panic. Don't worry, we'll get there. Yeah. So, and that's our relationship. That's how we built. And so, without going into too much detail, we knew, and I've been quite honest in a recent interview, and you'll see that. So I'm going to say the same to you guys. I knew we was going to get relegated. Did I accept it in any of my articles or talking? Of course I didn't. I got, I have to try and believe in everybody and like try and get punters through the door. And we won our first 2 games, and it gave a little bit of hope to everyone. But realistically, we were miles off where we needed to be as a group, players and staff. So we knew we was going to go down. But that's why I come back. That's why Bonds came in. That's why we chose to come back at the end of February, to give us an opportunity to live it and to live the dark moments, the tough moments. And that's why we had success, because we lived the dark moments and we accepted it at the right time. We could go, right, 19 players and various members of staff out there building, we're going to try and recruit better, make our best guess. And then it goes back to infrastructure. Paul was class. Paul invited me back to come and manage his team, and he was gutted when I left him originally, and he's class because contract law dictates, but and he's a believer in that through business. However, he wanted me to come back and help run his football club, and that was big for me. That was big, and I had to build some bridges, with the board and etc. the fan base.
I think you've done that now. I'll be honest.
I hope so. But that's my job, is not to step back. And I think that's where, and I don't think people will accept that I left for the right reasons. I come back for the right reasons, and maybe I have repaid that faith. We're back to where we hope would have been when I was here originally. But however, it's my job and Bonds' job to drive us forward. That's the challenge. Is not to step back. He's not going to say we're going to come 8th this year in the league. We're not going to do what Bradford done and come in the top 6. That might not be possible. But how do we make us better? Infrastructure off the pitch, structure on the pitch, recruitment-wise, building a squad that's got a little bit of maybe value in it. Some of the players we've got in Ben Knight, Mamadou Joe, Glenn McConnell, George Hoddle, just as Liam Bennett, the youngsters that are in the squad that are growing, ones that we've bought in that maybe do the same. We've got 6 or 7 we feel have got value in our squad. I'm not seeing that at this club for a while, and I think that's really important to us as well. So it's that infrastructure that's really key, and that's what helps build a culture and helps attract players.
Well, as you say, it did pay off last season. I wondered if you could maybe take us a bit behind the scenes, like from your point of view, how the whole season went, because it was a bit of it was a roller coaster, really, let's be honest, wasn't it? And something we said, I'll pay you a big compliment here, I guess, but like what we were saying a lot on the pod was that in the early part of the season, the thing that was so impressive from a management point of view is that you kept finding solutions to problems, which I guess is a lot of problem solving is a big part of your job, I guess. But if you think about we were really inconsistent first part of the season. Obviously, you remember we didn't put 2 of the same result together back to back until November.
That's it, yeah.
And then we struggled to score goals, and then Ben Knight gets in the side, and then you find a way to score goals, and we always found a way to fix a problem. But I just wondered if you take us behind the scenes on maybe the growth of how the season changed and what clicked at different moments and all that sort of stuff.
It's a brilliant question, so well done you.
Thank you.
It's a brilliant question, because that ultimately my job is is to solve problems, isn't it? You know, and that's like, do I bend the rules a little bit? Goalkeepers sit down. We had the stage of that, didn't we? Quite a few times, especially in the first half of the season. Goalkeepers sat down, and then it got to the stage where people were laughing. To be honest, they knew what's coming when I'm shouting, Easty, sit down. Then the fans are shouting, Eastwood, sit down for me. Because we had to solve problems, because we were searching. And ultimately we were searching, and that's what it does. With a new group that you're building, don't get me wrong, you see me at my most aggressive as well. You see me in moments be aggressive, and you can hear me. Even in a happy now, you can hear me, because I'm a winner, and I set standards. But I also have to be patient as well at the right times with the players, on record and off record. So we knew it was going to be a work in progress. We knew we had to build that. But that was the beauty. The best signing the football clubs made last season was Adam Barrett coming in to work with me as assistant manager and as defensive coach. We knew we had to build, and that was the beauty of him being there, was to support me and keep me calm, and share session loading, etc., etc. But we knew it was going to take time to build. We knew we were going to get things wrong. I knew all along, like, I wanted to play 4-2-3-1. I wanted to play 4-2-3-1, but I also knew the brief spell I had in it for a few months with Gillingham in League Two. I know it's a mad league. People just make it up as they go along sometimes, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. Because you do all this preparation, and someone turns up and they've changed shape for the first time in 9 years. Well, we shouldn't really be able to do that in football, because you make me look silly in front of my players. So we got to a stage where we decided to go, right, we had to be patient with players. We had to build an identity, but then got to, after Notts County away, we got beat 2-0, and it was a game where I just got fed up. Like, we shouldn't have lost the game. We should have been a 0-0. We could have nicked it in the first half on the counter attack. But I think we all know, and I think 1,800 Cambridge fans were a little bit like, oh, is that it? And I got on the bus on the way home and went, I'm getting bored of watching that. We just sat and shuffled, and I thought we was quite good at it, but I was like, no, we need a bit more than this. So that's when we went to the 3-4-3 formation. And it just, I think, escalated us. It enabled us to adapt, and it coincided with George Hoddle, finding his feet and into the team a little bit, and sharing Don Ball's workload. Because Ball was a class player and a great leader, but to sharing that workload. Ben Knight came into the team. How many times did I put him in the team and took him out of the team? He hadn't found his feet, but we were patient with Ben, patient. He was playing a different game to the rest of the league. Before that, he was almost like on a different planet to the rest of the league. I said, no, we're not getting to you, Knight. You've got to come to us, and that's what we did. And he came in, and that was a game changer. And confidence is a big one. And I think we just found our way. It took Mamadou a few months to get into the team because of injury the year before, and just building him up as well. So I think there was changes to the 11 in the team, confidence in players, and the change of shape was a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we noticed that, I think, as well. Not seemed like a bit of a changing point, I guess. The change in shape as well sort of coincided with I was basically putting up a brick wall between like the 18-yard box and our goal. Like there were times like, I think we went to Salford, we didn't even concede like a shot or like a chance, which is quite mad. You mentioned his name there, and it was the next question really. It was about Adam Barrett. Obviously he came in, and I'm just wondering if you could just talk a bit about his impact on the squad, like how beneficial has he been since he joined?
Yeah, look, firstly, we conceded 33 goals in 46 games, which
is crazy.
Yeah, it's quite mad. I think it was Arsenal, maybe Man City, but I know Man City conceded a couple at the end, but definitely Arsenal had a better defensive record. But they was all right, Arsenal. They weren't bad last year. So
good company to be in that.
Yeah. But we also we scored 66 goals as well, so we had a plus 33 goal, which I think was 7th or 8th top scorers in the league, but we missed a hell of a lot of chances as well, so we could have been more. But look, we found the balance, and sometimes you let 60 in and score 120, or you don't let a goal in but you don't score many. So we felt we had a balance, but ultimately, look, Adam coming, I said there was probably our best signing. And look, if I talk more on a personal level, as a really close friend of mine, somebody I've worked with for a lot of football matches, but known him since he was a child growing up. Family friend. His brother's my best friend, so we've got a real connection with families, etc. So it was important. I felt me personally, I found it really difficult in my first few months coming back, because even though I worked with Baz and get on great with Baz, Yurley was in the building, but Kev Betsy was really important to me first time I was here. And Kev had obviously left to go to QPR. Yuli had come in, and I hadn't worked with Yuli before, and the rest of the staff I sort of knew, but so Yuli moved on, and was like, obviously wanted to get Adam in, but I didn't know I was going to be able to get him. And when Adam agreed to come in, I knew it was going to be a game changer. I knew Bonds knew it was going to be a game changer for me personally, to have that support network, that person that we don't even have to have a conversation. He knows what I'm thinking, I know what he's thinking. We work in the same way, but so he came in, and what he does, he just makes players better. His standards are like mine, as high as mine, and he drives it. He's got a similar personality to myself in the sense of he's aggressive in his approach. He demands really high standards and makes players better because of it. So we decided that Adam would do defensive set plays, which obviously we're very good at, and that he would take the defensive unit. At the top end of the pitch, me and Barry would split taking attacking play. Barry done attacking set plays, but with the attacking play. But then all shape was me. So I do all the shape, defensive shape and attacking shape. That's me. That's on me as a manager. So we've got a real niche there. So shape, yes, where we're really hard to break down, teams can't get through us, comes obviously a lot from the shape I decide to play. But then once they get around that box, that becomes Adam's standards and his demand. And the players that we recruit. So big pat on the back for the recruitment team for bringing the right characters as well. So it's just a little breakdown and mythology of how we work during the week and what we expect to lead us to get to that obviously great achievement of conceding so few goals.
That record, yeah, I guess it's all got to work together, hasn't it? The recruitment and coaching, and like nice has to have that partnership where you're an ex-striker, he's an ex-centre-back, right? So it seems to go really well together.
And Liam O'Neill, as a midfield player, comes into the equation.
What a five-side team.
Yeah, they're a bit more mobile than me now, them two. Yeah.
Look, just to wrap up on last season, because obviously we want to talk about the season coming up, but briefly, the end of the season didn't quite go as smoothly as it should have done, as it could have done. I don't know. Talk us through maybe just that period coming up to it, and then I want to know where you were at in that 2 minutes, what felt like 20 minutes, when the Crawley-Salford game was...
Yeah, should I be really honest?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when exactly how I thought it was going to go towards the end.
Yeah.
Like, probably
the season?
No, because I didn't expect us to be a top three side.
Oh yeah, got you.
Like, I hoped, me and Adam, we demanded that. We didn't expect it. Top 7 was the aim in our heads. I think the football club was expecting a top 12. So sort of like a top 12 stroke top 10 build, and then the following year come and get promoted. So 2-year plan really. However, we just got better and better, and I had a conversation with Paul Barry in February, and I was actually in a pub on a Sunday afternoon, and it was a lot earlier there. He was having a cup of coffee at home, and he said, "We're really good, aren't we?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Do you think we're going to get promoted?" I said, "Yeah, we will." And he just laughed down the phone. And I think there's a reality of him, and I think he was a bit like, "Shit, oh no, we're going to be in League One again next year. This is a challenge for us." But he was buzzing as well, So it was great. So I was like, "Oh no, I've told Daniel we're going to get promoted. I've now got to make sure we get promoted." So that was a driving force for me. Was a little bit of that. And also, I wouldn't have been in Morocco with my friends climbing a mountain if we hadn't got promoted, because we'd have been in the playoffs. So that was another driving force. But however, bizarrely enough, is how I expected the season to go. MK Dons, like, just the best team by a mile, didn't they? Best players. But they only finished like 2 points in front of us. Bromley, they stumbled over the line, only finished a few points in front of us. And look, don't get me wrong, they've done brilliant to where they got to as well. But everyone had a little stumble just when it comes. Ours just come at the end, didn't it? Unfortunately. But I said all along, like, the calming influence was, we were pretty much in control the last sort of 6-8 weeks of the season. I was all right with that. And any time we was out of control, we chased. But the last day itself, that was the toughest. And that was probably my toughest, because of the scenario we was in. Normally, playoff final, just win a game. You know, when you've got 3 games to play, but you only need to win this or draw this today, you get promoted. Or you don't, but somebody else loses and you get promoted anyway. Honestly, it's so easy. This was the toughest scenario I've ever had as a manager. Yeah, because do you chase the game, do you not chase the game? So we had a clear plan and changes on the bench to be able to go either way. When we got the penalty for Knightsea, we thought, this is Crew's worst nightmare, this is our best scenario. We get 1-0 up, we get in our shape, they come at us, and we just counter-attack and go win 2 or 3-0. And believe it or not, that's what Crew thought as well, what was going to happen. And so when we missed the penalty, it was like, oh, right, okay. But we knew we'd get other chance, we get a chance somewhere. But the hardest point was we got to half time. It's like stick or twist. It's like, well, you can't. Everyone else is still in our favour. We're still third. You then can't go and chase a goal, because if you chase a goal and you concede, like, I could get sacked. What a stupid decision. So it's, do you stick or do you twist? So I think it was the 83rd minute. I was standing on the side at Crewe, obviously. The bench is the other side. Ads comes off the bench, says to me, Gaff, what do you want to do? I was like, I've got no idea. What do you think? He went, you're the manager, and just walked off. Let me do it. So I just stood there. Yeah. So I was like, right, and I got in. So Steve Coppell, absolute legend, obviously, Steve Coppell, he came and worked with me for a little bit of Millwall when I was a young manager. He came as like a mentor figure. He used to come in the training ground once a week, come watch a game and give me a bit of feedback. And he gave me one bit of advice. Well, no, he gave me a lot of advice. Sorry, Steve, he had loads of advice. But one thing stuck with me forever. If in doubt, do now. If in doubt, do now. And in that moment, where'd I go? Do we stick, do we twist? Gibbo shouting at me and Baldy shouting at me, Gaffer, what are we doing? Let's just carry on as you are. Just carry on as you are. Because if in doubt, do now. And if Salford go and score in the 98th minute, what can we really do about it? I can't. But if we go and try and score and stick 8 up front to try and score a goal and concede, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I don't think I could start a football club, in my opinion. So if in doubt, do now. Genius, and I. If we conceded, it'd have been a disaster. Yeah,
it's a simple game at times, isn't it?
But that is obviously done nearly 600 games. But that is sometimes it's just your best guess. That is absolute fact. All of that is just your best guess sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got it over the line in the end, and thankfully so. And we obviously move on to this pre-season. I mean, I guess just talk us through pre-season so far. How's it been going? How's Spain?
Yeah, so pre-season so far has been good. Straight away, let's not avoid the fact we've got a couple of injuries, unfortunately, and that hurts us in prepping for the season. But barring that, the lads' attitude has been magnificent. The club's in a really good spot. We're really excited about moving forward. Spain's been amazing, not just for us, but the football club, because it's the first time they've done it like properly like this. So they've been to Portugal a couple of years ago, but it was a little bit ad hoc and sort of bit lastminute.com. This has been planned for a while, and the way we've done it is mega, culminating in the game in front of fans, the ones that can make it on Friday, which again the club's never done. So it's a really important step for us when we talk about that infrastructure and that dragging a club forward. This is sort of another stamp for me to be able to say this is what good looks like. This attracts players in. This is an opportunity for staff and players to get to know each other better. Opportunity for me to recreate the session like this morning that you watched, and it's not always fluid, but you have to start somewhere, and that's an opportunity to deliver to players. We're going to have a video meeting tonight after dinner with the players, which will be sort of 15 to 30 minutes, which is something you can only do in the morning or afternoon at the training ground, but they can after dinner sit around, get a cup of coffee, a Coke Zero or whatever, and come and watch that and chill out, and it just makes it a lot calmer. So you can get so much work into the guys here. It's just bloody hot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, isn't it, on the training pitch?
Yeah, but it's been quite brutal at home, isn't it? Quite a lot.
Yeah.
So we've obviously changed. So when you came over this morning, you saw Port Vale were finishing on the pitch next to us. They started early. So I had a coffee with John Brady and was talking about trying to balance times off, like when they train, when we train, on the pitch next to each other. I said no, it's a bit wrong for at the same time, just because of voice and balls going across. So he said, we might start 8:30 then. I said, we'll just come out at sort of 10:15. He went, Chop, it'd be really hot. I went, yeah, but we're playing Preston at 11 o'clock. And they're going to be quite good. so we're just acclimatised. So that's why we've gone out in the mad heat, because getting us ready for Friday.
Yeah, well, we look forward to it. And I guess we've got to ask as well about the window. Obviously, a few have come in already. What can you tell us about where we're at in terms of maybe more additions?
More additions, yeah, definitely. Real fact and honesty is we're short still. Squad-wise. So let's talk about the injuries. So Kai first, calf strain. He's here. You'd have seen him this morning. He's not going to play tomorrow. Probably won't play Tuesday either. He might Tuesday, but I certainly won't rush him. So realistically, a play in a house game on the Friday, and then go to Norwich in a behind closed doors game next Tuesday. So he'll do some minutes in that. Then we'll be able to build him up for Barnet and then into Wigan and so on. So that's a big plus for us. But Hoddle and Stead, they've really hurt us, to be honest. And the reason I'd be really honest about it is because if you get muscular injuries now, like, I was disappointed with SK, but that's probably on us because he'd been away with Sierra Leone. I don't know if you know, he'd been away for a couple of weeks, and maybe I should have been a little bit smarter in my man management with him, maybe a little bit longer off, whatever. So look, I own that one, but he's going to be back hopefully this week, so that's fine. But the other two, Hod's, like, how do you tell a lad you can't play football in your garden with your dad on Father's Day?
Day, yeah.
When I was in the garden with my kids playing football.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you can't, can you? It's just unlucky. And Callum Stead, like, I thought the City game was an amazing day for our City again. Great for the two football clubs, but we picked up a 3-month injury or 4-month injury to Callum Stead because he planted his foot in the wrong position. And he's never done an ankle before. There's nothing you can do about it. So look, I'm actually arriving. But what it does do, it affects our transfer window. It affects our thinking. There are two players that are going to be really influential in my group, and they're not going to be fit until October. So you're going, well, what do we do now? So we have to adjust slightly. We can't miracle things. We feel we've done really good business so far. We've got a good blend. Patrick Bowers coming in as a senior centre half, a bit like a Michael Morrison scenario last year. Isaac Heath's coming as just look, you're going to really enjoy watching him. You know, we have Isaac. He's got great talent. He's got great athleticism. Great loads of ability. Great lad. But just think how long it took Ben Knight to get going last year. Isaac, hopefully he's in a better place than that, but you can be patient with him. But so we feel just for those two, just for an example, just a slight, mix. Callum Perry comes a bit younger again, so we're trying to get the blend right, but we've still got some work to do, and we are. And the last couple of weeks have been really tough because there's actually been no players available for us where we fit, because every football club needs 2 players in every position. Also, in the last 48 hours, it's drip feeding in again that players that we might like are becoming available. So we will sign at least 2 more players. Hopefully certainly before Wigan, but ultimately I'm experienced enough to know what I've got in the building. I'm really pleased with, because a lot of lads were here last year, know what I want, how I work, what the expectation is, so I'm really pleased with that. But we do need a couple of proper players in the building that certainly can affect the starting 11 at any given moment.
Do you see us, this might be giving away a few clues if there's any opposition managers listening, but you mentioned earlier that last year we played 4 and 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever you want to say. And I know towards the end of the season we kind of switched, even mid-game, you did a lot of switching between them. Do you see that as still something you want to do this year in League One, like the flexibility, or are you training one or the other a bit more? Is there a preference for you?
So we trained one shape in the first few weeks, and you'd have seen that in the games, and we then need to train the second shape, which we have while we've been here to play. So we'll be flexible. Don't get me wrong, if we find a shape and we just keep winning, well, I might stick at it. If I pick a shape, we play it and we lose 4 in a row, I might change it. But ultimately, that was our biggest success last year, was the flexibility we had. And that's where I can't praise the players highly enough. It's not always easy to do that. It's not always easy to play in my team for what I demand. But the lads done it. And that was the importance of keeping so many. And again, we can touch on about disappointing to lose a couple of influential characters. But ultimately, we had flexibility. And that's where someone like Callum Perry becomes really key. Because he can play at left back, he can play left of a 3, he can play at left side in a 4, he can play holding midfield if need be. And he's a very young man, but Reece James can do that in a World Cup, and he done the same when he was 18 at Wigan. I had Glenn Johnson, played with Glenn at Millwall, came on loan from West Ham when he was 18, played a lot of games for England. He was the same. He could play right back, right centre half, he could play left back, could play holding mid, he could play in the 10. So it's really important that you have players with a little bit of flexibility, and I see it in my team. So we will play 2 shapes this year.
Oh, that's really interesting. Well, you mentioned influential players leaving there. I just wanted to touch on maybe specifically Gibbons, which you mentioned it in passing, but comes as it came as a blow, I think, to fans. How did it feel for you to lose a player like
Absolute kick in the bollocks. Be really, again, I struggle not to be honest, and I know I talk a lot, but yeah, losing Gibbo was tough, and it was an emotional moment for both of us, because he'll openly admit it's the best season he's ever had in football, and probably his life. No disrespect to him getting married or his baby, but on a football level, but life as well. He absolutely loved it, and we loved having him. It was a huge part of our culture. But he went for the right reasons, and I've got no issue. So it hurts that he left, a bit hurt him he left as well. But it was for family purposes, and for that, I 1,000,000% support the decision. a couple of other players obviously left because just time, just more experienced players that just maybe just going like Michael Morrison. It's going to be his last season. He's gone to now coach at Wimbledon, which I'm so pleased for him. He's going to be a really good coach. I think he'll be a good manager one day. So that natural one like that, and then sometimes you just have to make change. Just have to accept that what we might have offered deals-wise, players get better deals somewhere else or longer deals somewhere. So it was a shame to lose a couple, but ultimately we also understood like someone like Adam Mayer, has now gone back to Mill. We tried to keep him, obviously. Ad's really enjoyed it, but also understand Mill's stance that they paid money for him, they want the money back, we couldn't pay the fee. So it goes to Scotland. Where Scotland have had a huge influx of money this year because of a TV right in there, and they're trying to chase what championship clubs in the Scottish Premier, what championship clubs get in England. So all of a sudden their budgets have changed. So that was that scenario as well. So two players that really were influential for us, we lost, but that's down to us and recruitment wise to build. But also that's why we have players last year in the building that were developing into hopefully good players this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I guess there's an opportunity for more people to make themselves the next James Givens, make themselves the next Adam Mayer. All starts with Preston on Friday. I guess before we let you go, Neil, you were telling us earlier about a staff paddle tournament coming up in a few moments.
Yes.
Back yourself?
Yeah. Well, I've never actually played paddle, so I don't know what the rules are. So I do.
Good start.
Yeah, it's 12 of us, but I do expect to be in the final. It's just a way again of just the staff just getting together, having a laugh. So yes, we can sit and have a coffee. We can have a cold beer on a sort of Friday evening and have a laugh, etc. But try to build a staff with a culture that players can thrive off. And when the players see us like we are, when they see us laughing, joking, doing everything together, even going for a paddle comp, the lads want to come down and watch. I think some of them are. Then look, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think we're in pairs. I'm not expecting to win, that's for sure. It's not getting any younger, as you know. But Adam and Liam are together, Liam O'Neill, and they're relatively mobile and they got a good eye. So I think they're the favourites to win. If they don't, I think it'd be a disgrace and a huge disappointment for them. No pressure.
Last thing, just then we'll let you go. We've got a few questions in asking along the lines of, realistically, what you're looking for in terms of league position this season. And I know you're not going to answer that, but like what sort of challenges has League One got? How like last year we were challengers towards the top end, this year we're maybe more survivors. Maybe you won't like those terms, but if you see what I mean, like we're a different sort of prospect.
So it's been, so I spoke to, I speak to loads of managers because I get on with most people, and like I said, because I'm busy, I'm always on the phone talking to people, and especially over the summer when you recruitment, I always like to get references of managers. So I speak to quite a lot, and I said to managers in League One this year, or last year, tell me about the league. What do you think? And they're like, well, it's athletic. You have to be good at set plays. So that's football, isn't it? But League Two was set plays, and athleticism is the Championship and the Premier League. So bridging the gap there. But they talked about golf, two tier. So they talked about 8 teams at the top and about 16 teams below. This year, I think everyone's saying, well, it could be as many 12 teams that are going to have double-figure upwards budgets, and then 12 teams that won't. Obviously, I know you get a lot of followers on here, and it won't be a genius to work out between them all what tier we're going to be in when it comes to that. But ultimately, that's my job to find the solutions we touched on earlier to try and bridge that gap in the tiers. And those challenges don't scare me. Never had a budget here to compete with top sides. I never had it a Mill to compete with top sides. Cardiff was the place I did, and we got to the playoffs and lost to Fulham, unfortunately. But so I've never been in that position. So chasing doesn't fear me. I embrace it, and it's a great opportunity to galvanise the players. When we go to Hillsborough, when we go to the King Power, when we go to the Cassam, when we go to Huddersfield, you're playing against teams that have just got, not so much Oxford with the embargo, but still got a lot of players on big money from last year. You go to Luton, you go to the Kenny. These are cracking games for us, and those teams have got to come to us. So straight away, there's 10, 12 fixtures that you could get really excited about, and I expect us to take points off those teams. I expect us to win games. So I'm not going to say in-house we've got an idea, but I'm not going to sit here and tell the fan base that I expect us to come first, or And
just tell Paul Barry that.
Yeah, but I'm certainly not going to tell you either. I'd accept this year just coming 5th bottom. No. I think everyone knows my standards and my demands are high. So I'm not going to put the players and the staff under too much pressure. What I want us to do, I want us to enjoy the season. I want the lads to have the same mentality as last year, which is a winning one. But also, I want us to embrace it. You know, we've got an opportunity against and the fans as well. How good was the away support last year?
Incredible.
Which I know we spoke about this before, but like people saying to me, like, I can't believe it. They're turning up 2,000 away fans. It's like we only had 800 before. Those things, the games next year. Like, I think if you don't go the way, I think you're mad. Chance to watch your teams. League One's not been like this before. Not for a lot of years since Leeds were in it and Norwich were in it and Man City were in it. It's not been like this for years. Fans should be travelling to away games, but last year was almost kind of expecting us to win. No, don't expect us to win, but come and enjoy it when we do win, and we will win away games. And when you're at the Abbey, we have to sell out the Abbey. We have to do it this year. We have to make it as hostile as possible in our own environment, in our traditional stadium. We have to make it as horrible and intimidating as we can for the opponent, and that's not by throwing things at the opponent or threatening people to take a corner. It's not our fan base, obviously, but however, we have to be. We have to be front-footed. We have to be aggressive. We have to make it awkward for the opponent. At certain times, and that's what I want us to be.
I love that. Well, what a rallying cry to end with. And mate, thanks a lot for sitting down with us, and can't wait to see it all unfold.
No, thank you for letting me sit down with you. But now I've got to stretch my legs because I'm stiffening up before going to have a paddle competition. So if I lose, it's you two. It's your fault. But no, thank you for coming. Thanks for your time and thanks for your support for me personally, but also to the football club over the last 12 months.